In this lesson, we're going to look at two ways to stop a loop from running, or in one case, to actually skip an iteration of a loop. And we're going to start with that particular technique. And it uses something called a continue statement. And I'm going to demonstrate it using a very simple technique or a very simple program, primarily because I want to emphasize that these are not neither one of these techniques or statements are things you should use very often. So let's take a look first at continue. Continue will stop a loop in the middle of the body and iterate up to the next iteration, or skip to the next iteration of the loop. So let me demonstrate how that works. So let's say we have a for loop. And we're going to run from 1 to 99. So we know what that loop is going to do. It's going to print out the numbers 1 through 99. Now, let's add a statement. I'll tell you what let's do. Let's change this to 50 to make it a little bit smaller output. So first, I guess we need to run the program so you can see how that looks. Not a big deal. Okay, so there's, well, you can't see the 1, but it goes down through 49. So let's do this. Let's add an if statement. It says if I is equal to 25, continue. So what's going to happen is the loop is going to run. It's going to print 1 through 24. Then it's going to see that I is 25, and it's going to continue, which means it's going to go up and increment I by 1 and then continue on with the loop. So let's compile. Now let's run. So we should not see the value 25. And there we can prove that. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. We have a continue if I is equal to 25, so it skipped displaying 25 and went right to 26. So you can use that when you want to skip over the rest of the body of a loop for whatever reason. A good example might be one where you want to let a user pick two numbers and do division, like 4 divided by 2, 123 divided by 7. And you might actually test to see if the user enters a 0 for the denominator, which is an illegal operation, and you can have the program continue and skip over that part, and then ask the user for another number or another set of numbers. So that's how the continue statement works. The other statement we wanted to look at was the break statement, and break does something completely different. It actually will stop the program. So now watch what happens this time. We simply replace the word or the statement continue with the statement break. Let's compile it. And let's run the program. And so you see what happened. It got to 24, and we wrote if I equals 25, break, and it did break. And so when the break statement is executed, it actually transfers control outside of the loop, so that we went from the break statement to the next statement outside of the loop body. There are no more statements, so the program just stopped. Break is much like continue. You should only use it if there's absolutely no other way to write your program. Continue, there's some good arguments for using continue. There are not very many good arguments for using break to break out of a loop. The break statement is great for switch statements, But you should always try to figure out a way to normally break out of a loop if you need to do that, rather than to just do it very arbitrarily by using the break statement. So that wraps up this lesson on continue and break, and we've looked at two examples of ways to modify the flow of a loop, and this works as well for while loops as it does for loops. But again, use caution when you use either break or continue, and try everything you can to come up with some other way to write your loop so that you don't have to use either one of these statements. No, you're kidding. I wasn't recording.